Our next metric part is going to be the adjustable base plate. Creating slots. There is no sketch tool for creating slots directly. This has to be done with a combination of circles, rectangles, or lines. The good thing about this one is you can mirror this from one side to the other. There are some fillets. There are some casting fillets that are 2.5 millimeters in radius. When measuring the slot, this one is showing slot diameter. That is the width from the flat surface to flat surface. This one is measured in radius on the arc. So if this one were to be measured in terms of diameter, it would be 30. And this 14, since it's in diameter, the radius would be 7. This outside radius, if you look here, the distance from the center of the slot to this outside curve is 20. So this is a radius of 20 or a width of 40. There is one thing that I see quite often where students comment on, that when they draw this, it doesn't look as tall as it does here in this image, and that I can see it. The overall height is 40. So don't think it's wrong just because it looks short. The overall height is only 40. When we go to put hidden lines aren't really the problem. It's the center marks and center lines that become a problem. In metric format, the pattern spacing is not real consistent, for a lack of better terms. We want our center marks to hang out past the arcs or outside the circle. They do, but it's only like 1 millimeter by default, and that's really short. So we're going to have to change the center mark extension. Once we do this to the workspace, we won't have to do this again. Another thing is the center lines. Even though that we are using center 2, when we go to put center 2 in, you have to stretch it really far. Or is it really short? That's one or the other. We actually have to change the line scale, which will be probably talked about in another video. But let's take a look at this one. I'm going to start with the center circles, and since they are in diameter, I'm going to draw a circle or circles in the diameter construction. And I am going to start in the top. The right side view is actually all projection. I would take very few dimensions in the right side view. So a 30 inside diameter, a 60 outside diameter. Now to start setting up some of your spacing. The distance to the center of the first arc is 56. And if you want to put dimensions on here to keep you in line, it might not be a bad idea. Based on this first slot, the fact that it is in diameter, I am now drawing a radius circle. I want a 7 radius. I'm going to double check that because it looks small. Yeah, I'm wrong. Let's stay with the diameter circle at 14. Oh, of course that's too big. Maybe I typed in 41. And I have another one, again, that's 15 millimeters away. It's a diameter of 14. You could now either draw a rectangle between the two quadrant points or draw lines. And this is for the one that is the through slot. Eventually you're going to have to come back and trim this. If you want to trim it now, probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm going to trim out some of this material. And these are all just lines, so they're just going to go away. So that's the center for the first slot. Now the center for the outside radius I could do the raised slot now. And that one would be a diameter of 30, and they share the same center. And I also have one that is a radius of 20, concentric, shared center, diameter of 40. So I would think pretty quickly this gets kind of confusing. At least it does in my eyes. Oh, I don't need this second circle. This is going to extend back to the circle, a horizontal line. I do need horizontal lines to create the raised slot or the boss. And again, I'm going to be in a process of trimming this. Get what I can out of here. I'll trim this off as well. So I took the time and created one side. Maybe run a quick dimension, draw a line real quick. All right, 56 from center to center here. From this center to this center is 15. Got it. 7, 15, 20. So I want to mirror this instead of doing all of this work again. That was confusing enough. As long as you make some reference point to mirror this on, I can select all of this to mirror about this line and keep both sides. I would keep a 40 millimeter spacing in between on these metric drawings. And this is just going to be the top. I'm going to set up my 45-degree angle line for projection. And from here, we are just projecting. So the overall height is 40. And that puts me out here at the end. This height is 15. And comes across to hit the circle. Again, this is a feature that you can mirror. And being that I already have essentially a center line, I'll mirror based off of this center line. I'm going to have a hidden line here. The raised boss is 5 millimeters. So I'm now going to set this at the overall length of the raised boss. Right. I will have some more hidden lines, and again, doing this the first time, you can mirror more of it. And we are also going to have center lines. There'll be a center line. This one will turn into a center line. But we have center lines for the slot as well. Okay. All right. I think we're about ready. So I don't want to mirror this yet. I want to set these hidden lines and center lines. So hidden, hidden, hidden. And going to a hidden 2, which we loaded last class. I've tried to put the settings back to the default settings. So these 3 are hidden. 2. Not a big problem. When I want to create the center lines, these 3 here are all going to be center lines. I'm going to load center 2. And you will hopefully notice a problem once I change these to center 2. When I change these to center 2, this one's, okay. And if I add, 2.5 to extend it past the object, 2.5. 0.25, 2.5. That works fine for this one, but watch this one. This is 20 millimeters worth of material. Even by adding on, the line type still doesn't change. It's just the scale factor of being in metric. So this is I would say, a pretty big problem. How far out do I need to extend this till that line type shows up? Well, not that far. Here's the generic question, or the answer to that question. We need to change the line scale. In the dynamic input, we're going to type LTS, and we will find line scale. In order for this to happen more often, we're going to put a number in here. Right now it's 1:1. We're changing the global line scale across the entire file. And let's see what happens if we type in 12. Okay, not what we want to do. Let's try a different line scale. Let's try 0.5. Better. If I make this shorter, does the line scale still show? That should work. So on center 2, we're going to use a 0.5 line scale factor. Excellent. Now we can mirror all this. Now I'm just going to take it all and mirror it. The right side view is all projection. So 40 millimeters in between. Height, we know that this is 40. Oh, that's the outside. This is 40. This is 60. Actually, you can just take this. Because it's still a cylinder. We still have hidden lines and center lines. Now to the slots. And all projection. Okay. So these are 15. So this one. This line projects across. And now we have the raised slot. I'm just going to strike a line across here. And this one will project over. The good thing, if you can call it that, is that the hidden lines for the diameter of 30 line up with these hidden lines. So it does take a little more guesswork. Oh, I shouldn't be guessing. Take some of the projection out. This line goes all the way down and through. We do need to project this interior width of the slot, or the diameter, which will then become a hidden line type. The next thing that we have to concern ourselves with, well, we're out of time. Next video.